Welcome to Steve's Cottage with Steve Horner. Steve Horner, a former radio talk show host, helps spotlight the source of today's social chaos while offering practical solutions to the problems negatively affecting you and your family. And now, here's Steve.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Steve's Cottage. I'm Steve Horner, your host, and if the cottage is rocking, well, don't bother knocking. You just come right on in. Got a great show here for you. I've had a lot of platforms where you can dig this Steve's Cottage show since the beginning, but when you go to but now I've added a link to Spotify. And if you go to stevehornerbooks.com and you're just listening to it right now at YouTube, you can click the podcast option on the top menu line at stevehornerbooks.com. And then when the index rolls out, just go to the bottom, and you've got links for the Facebook, which gives you audio, video. It's got a link for Rumble, which is a great platform for audio, video. And then today we added Spotify, which I think is just audio, but I'm not sure. But that's where Joe Rogan, is that his name?
See, that's a great thing about Spotify. You can have Joe Rogan with his 40 million viewers and you with your 4.
No, 2 million. You said I was up to 2 million now. So
I apologize.
I'm only 38. I'm only 38 million. 39 million.
Carry the one.
640 less.
Divided by 0.
But growing. And so I'm happy to have your company here, but we got Spotify, and that's good. And now for the next 25 minutes, lean back or keep jogging or however you're digging the show. And as we delve into life's absurdities. Now, how can we, as a civilized society, allow an entire Oh, by the way, the title of this show is called Trump, the Cunt Crusher. Now, you might say, gosh, that's vulgar. No. How about the great American slogan that says about this woman that you've been dating? Well, I don't know, Bobby. You know, Jane's a nice gal, but I understand that she's a real ball buster. What's the difference between she's a ball buster and Trump the Cunt Crusher? It's a matter of physics, ladies and gentlemen. But here on this show, cunt is not a part of the anatomy. Cunt is an acronym. C period, U period, N period, T period. Yes, those women have their periods. We men, we need to have and display and exemplify those exclamation points. That's what we're good for. We have those exclamation points while those women have those periods. And the acronym stands for can't understand normal thinking. So here we have a voting campaign, an election that featured an entire voting bloc, namely the Democratic Party, who nominated Kamala Harris, Kamala the Cunt, as their presidential candidate. Now, just think of her ultra-liberal policies, A to Z, abortion to Zionism. Not to mention her, seriously, look at this, her dyke-styled outfit, her boring dyke-styled Russian comrade-type uniform. This is not a woman, this is a comrade cunt. And the people that supported her are takers. And we didn't know going into the election if there were going to be more takers than makers in the United States. And we found, thank goodness, there are more makers than these takers on the socialistic platform of handouts and victimization. But then came this guy named Trump, the Cunt Crusher, and put her under his bus for crushing. The same way he crushed Hillary the Cunt 8 years earlier. These are the only two women to run for American president in a major party. and carry the banner of socialism in America. It could have been anybody instead of Kamala the cunt. She carried the banner of socialism, okay? Could have been anybody. She carried that banner. The takers knew what she was standing for. The makers knew what she was standing for, and they put her under the bus. And Trump, the cunt crusher, wiped her out. Both these cunts got their female asses totally whipped by Trump, the cunt crusher. Now, here's why, and I'm going to try to explain it. Trump's first go-around opened the eyes of the American public as to the lying tactics of the Jew-run media. Racist? Nope. Jews are liberal. And so along with their with the sentimentalism of the cunts that they have working for them and running America's government from the administration offices of the cities, the counties, the communities to the federal government, along with the courts and the prosecutors, the judges, all the policies we've come to know as dysfunctional, like welfare and illegal immigration and crime and abortion and lousy parenting and all those phony, trumped-up domestic abuse and phony rape charges and all of the harassment and all of the lousy public education. It's all been a bust. And it was Trump who spotlighted the source of it all, and he crushed them all. Trump, the cunt crusher. He opened your eyes to where the source of this dysfunctional, rancid-smelling crap was coming from. He pointed out all these. He put to rest all of the phony Jew-run propaganda in the mass media and all their angry, distorted allegations of Trump. They didn't get him the first time. They got him the second time. They didn't get him this time because Trump educated you as to the source and how to, the source of this rancid-smelling, these lies and hypocrisy and these bad policies. He spotlighted the source of it. So you became educated on how to put the dots together. In fact, Trump was so effective at spotlighting the source of the chaos that many of those who didn't support him in his first term and second term had now been educated to become a Trumpster for this most recent election. God bless you, white suburban women. You finally opened your ears and your eyes to see that Trump was going to be better for your family. Right? Right. You didn't. You could finally understand that he's pounding the table with these exclamation marks. Not the periods, not the sentimentalism. He's a man's man. And you saw that that's what we need here in America. The blacks opened their eyes. They saw that this is a guy that doesn't want you enslaved. He wants you out there in the party, in the mix, contributing all the good things that you have. The Hispanics, the Asians, all these people knew now because of Trump's education that he was going to be the man for you and your family. And boy, wasn't there a huge influx of these white women and these blacks and these Asians and the Hispanics. And if you'll go back to some of these young white men, and if you'll go back to some of my excuse me, if you'll go back to some of my earlier episodes on Steve's Cottage, like 5, 6, 7, whatever, I speak of these young men as being mightily pissed off and being made into second-class citizens because of their race and their gender and their label of being privileged. They got tired of it. Too much of those phony rape charges and harassment and this kind of crap and being made into a second-class citizen as being privileged. They got fed up with it, and millions of them came around and voted for Trump, the cunt crusher. And Trump wisely ignored the Jew press, the liberal Jew press, and those pussified wimps like Senator Lindsey Graham to tone it down. Tone it down. Be more graceful. Be more cordial. Be more like Mitt Romney and George Bush and John McCain. Find that compassionate conservatism. And Trump said, screw you, baby. We're putting them under the bus. We're going to be thumpers. We're going to be real men. And that's how we should act, like real men. And America responded favorably. Even these white upscale women who were a little skittish about Trump. Well, he's so, he scares me. Bullshit. He's a man's man. How were we going to win World War II with John McCain? Huh? We weren't going to. We need a man's man. And that's what Trump is. And these women started to recognize it. And as I did predict on these shows, these white men, these white suburban women, they reacted favorably to Trump because they became educated and smart enough to know that men and women are wired differently from birth, inherently wired differently. And it's those differences that are good for the family, good for society in general. So get out of the way, you mean-spirited socialistic feminists, you pussified men and traitorous legislators. Trump the cunt crusher will see to it that these times are changing back to normal. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide open, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changin'. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for they that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside still raging, and who will shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changin'. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'. I am so happy with that song. I am so happy with that song. You recognize Bob Dylan? No doubt the king of the Jewish hippie scene from the 1960s. Bob Dylan, raised in what used to be conservative Minnesota, is now liberal Minnesota. I don't think that Bobby, the 1960s pot-smoking philosopher who has been claimed a poet laureate, and he was badged with a Medal of Freedom pin. He's a Medal of Freedom recipient. I don't know what he would have been the freedom liberator of, but nevertheless, I guess President Obama liked him. But he was a poet laureate, and oh boy, was he ever, and he's still alive, a poet laureate, because his words really are magical. And this hippie anthem, I don't know if he'd be so happy with me about making it into a Trump tribute. Well, tough shit, Bobby, because times they are a-changin', and they are changing back to normal. Yeah. So, in another arena here, we've got Trump the cunt crusher. And now we have the ongoing saga of the continuing battle in the more Jew battles in the Middle East and in Ukraine. These are Jewish areas. And the Jews just won't give up their arrogance and vindictiveness and just keep going. Russia doesn't want these missiles pointed at them. Hamas and these Palestinians don't want the Jews continuing to encroach on their property after 77 frickin' years. Now, in my last show, I compared the everlasting squabbles between the Jews in Israel and the Ukraine and their Arab neighbors to America's stubborn Appalachians, the hillbilly feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys in the 1880s and the 1890s. Now, very parallel scenarios here, you see. These human beings with common ancestry, like the Palestinians and the Jews, and the Ukrainians and the Russians, and the Hatfields and the McCoys. It's built on arrogance, vindictiveness, and revenge. The McCoys had Union sentiments. Hatfields had Southern Confederate sentiments. Just like these people in Ukraine and Russia have different sentiments, same ancestry, just like the Palestinians and the Jews, same ancestry, different sentiments. But they just keep on, you killed my pig. You raped my daughter. I'm going to shoot you. You killed my father. You took down my border fence. You spit on my sidewalk. You killed my son. Yeah, but you raped my daughter. Anger, revenge. In the Middle East, the Jews were granted this land in Palestine in 1946 by the UN because they weren't welcome anywhere because of their liberalism. But they kept encroaching on the properties of their neighbors, their unwelcoming neighbors. Wouldn't that piss you off after 77 frickin' years? It would me. Humans can only take so much pushing around and shoving because now it has become pushback time. And then along with it, we have the U.S. financial support for the Jews. That continues. And the Jew Prime Minister, Netanyahu, I call him Nut and a Yehu. He's a nut and a Yehu, just like these Yehus up along the Appalachian Mountains. A bunch of Yehus. They continue to show this Jew arrogance by staying determined to destroy Hamas and Hezbollah, even at the expense of thousands and thousands of civilian lives. Arrogance. I got you. I'm going to get you. I got you. I hate you. I hate you more. That's all it is. And now Biden comes along and gives them these long-range American missiles so they can shoot from Kiev into Moscow and get us into a third world war because we got the nut and the Yehu. Revenge, arrogance, vindictiveness. Meanwhile, the Jew influence in America keeps degenerating America and its youth with its subversive Hollywood productions, the internet, Wall Street, and the mass media. They control what you see. Well, at least they want to. Trump has kind of put this under the bus too, hasn't he? You know a lot of this Jew press and the Associated Press and this television. You know it's bullshit, don't you? You're learning. But they want you to continue to be controlled by what they want you to see and read and what you should think of it and what they think you ought to think about it. See, the golden lining to Trump's win is that Trump was finally successful at getting America to see through the smoke and the mirrors and the lies. And as Trump the Cunt Crusher and his immediate family and team will work hard to ensure that the times truly are changing back to normal. See, that's the difference between Bob the pot smoker in the 60s. That was a hippie anthem into dismiss what your parents are saying. Those conservative fools. Dismiss what those conservative school teachers are telling you. We want you out in the streets to protest, to be yourself, to find yourself. Free love, free sex, free drugs. Find yourself, you see. Get away from all that conservative nonsense. But my singing of that anthem today with the same words, only different times, because now I have put a different meaning to it. With the Trump election, times they are a-changing, back to normal. No more cunts can't understand normal thinking. No, now we're back to normal. Trump the Cunt Crusher has put them under the Trump bus. And we want to make sure that we don't slip back into being perilously close to falling into that abyss of socialism and the tyranny that goes with it, like we almost did with Kamala the Cunt and her real weird-looking Russian comrade-looking clothing and her bad socialistic killing family-busting policies, all that goes with it. So I urge you to become a Trump sleuth, a Trump detective, to report the policies and the lies that you know in your heart and soul just aren't right for the well-being of your family and your society. It is now up to you. You saw how perilously close we came to the edge. Don't let it happen again. It's up to you. Don't let it go unsaid. Speak your mind. Whenever you see these crazy things happening, don't let it go unsaid. Speak your mind. And then we will continue not only to go back to normal, but we'll find that normal and we'll continue to be strong families in society because we'll be back to normal. And so when you climb those mountains and you're challenged with that trail, get off that well-worn trail and get off into the less traveled trail. Because when you get to the top, you'll feel better about yourself, better memories, and a better view. And you come back to see me again. Great seeing you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Visit Steve's Cottage again with Steve Horner.